Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, having a conversation with Peter Deeb. He is the chairman and CEO of Hampton Financial Corporation in Toronto. Peter, you've paid close attention to the so-called BRICS group of countries as well, seeing that as a potential counter to a USA-centered order. What's your sense of where the BRICS are presently?
They are moving with lightning speed, Tony, and expanding their constituency. They've brought in a dozen more countries into the loop. They're having active engagement at very fast pace on new projects, new initiatives, everything ranging from digital currency to regional currency to trying to come up with programs that exclude Western involvement. I mean, Saudi Arabia alone has issued announcements on $40 or $50 billion of new mega projects in the last 6 months alone, all in partnership with China, with India, with certain African countries. No U.S. participation.
Yeah, and I guess from another side, I mean, first of all, BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and then, as you mentioned, Saudi and a number of other countries have been invited to join. So, what is that? You want? Let's unpack that a little bit in terms of the reserve currency status of the U.S. dollar. Is that under threat as a result of this?
In the longer term, it is. Again, I don't think it is immediately. However, if you see, there is a potential for the U.S. dollar to go from being 86% of U.S. trade, which is denominated in U.S. dollars, down to 75. We've never seen that before. That's a big move, and that's something we're going to have to digest as it happens. And it'll be very tough to reverse that if they decide that they're prepared to trade these countries in their own currencies. And remember, Tony, some of these currencies are actually pegged to the dollar. Saudi and the UAE have a currency that's pegged to the dollar. And if they were to decouple from the dollar, those currencies would actually rise, because you're talking about countries that have a far better looking balance sheet. They have a growth potential that exceeds what the U.S. has right now. They've got a younger, well-educated population. So their next 30 years is all sunshine, whereas ours is filled with a fair amount of challenges.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Let's talk a little bit more about the Emirates and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I know you know a lot about that area of the world. What is your sense of their ascending geopolitical and diplomatic importance right now?
Look, I think their voices are being heard and respected on a regular basis now. They're engaging in world issues and giving their opinions. We've certainly seen that in the Israel-Gaza conflict, where they've come up and taking new and interesting positions on the matter, and they're being well considered. So I think they've established some credibility very quickly. I think they plan on using that and having a much bigger voice, whether it be through the UN or any of the other NGOs that come into contact with them. But right now, their focus is very much looking eastward into new opportunities with China, the biggest by headcount market to deal with India, and certainly with Russia. They continue to engage with them. So the West has become a bit of an afterthought, and we needed to keep an eye on that.
Let's talk about Saudi just for a second, because you mentioned earlier about new infrastructure. Give us a sense of what that means for Saudi Arabia. What are some of the big projects that they're considering or moving forward?
One of the smart things they're doing there, and they have a lot of social considerations, being a predominantly Muslim country and a very conservative country in general. But the new leadership and the new young generation have decided they want to start to emulate Dubai and some of the more progressive areas. So they're building a lot of new cities. They basically said, we're going to leave the traditionalists with the traditional cities. We're going to build new cities for people that have a new perspective on where we want to go with the country. And that's how they plan on executing. And they're already talking about integrating or introducing, sales of alcohol and other entertainment factors that were never part of the original plan. Look, they've got a strategy. They've got a playbook for the next 30 years, and they're executing full speed as if there's no impediment to success. And I'll tell you, Tony, it's very interesting. Government over there, they don't have to go through multiple readings every time they have an idea that they want to present to government. These guys launch a plan on Monday. On Wednesday, they're looking for an update.
Yeah, no, a different system. And just to clarify, you're talking about whole new cities from scratch being created.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whole new cities, residential, industrial, commercial, new office buildings, hotels, entertainment all over the place. I mean, they really have an aggressive vision for what they want to do, and they're financing it only by, as I said, selling a lot of their foreign investments
Right.
and repatriating that money back to Saudi Arabia.
We're just going to take a brief break, Peter. We'll be back with you. Please stand by. We'll hear from our commercial sponsors.